Namaste, welcome to Darga Develop. Today we are going to dive into CSS position properties and how they control the placement of DOM elements. From my experience, many developers often find these properties confusing and are unsure of when to use each one. Here I have listed the properties and their behaviors regarding element positioning. We'll go through each one in our lab session right away. Let's get into the Visual Studio Code Editor. And if you don't have a one, it's a open source and you can download it by going through your browser and installing it. It's very straightforward, but if you face any issues, let me know in the comments and I can help you out. Okay, I have prepared the HTML and CSS to explain the position properties and they are available in the Git repo. The link is provided in the description of this video. And I also installed live server extension to establish a local development server to run the HTML. Let's run the HTML with help of live server extension and open it in the browser. Yep. Here is a quick summary of the elements. This element is made up with sticky property, and when we scroll down and it move to the mentioned measurement of the top property from the viewport, it's going to be fixed at that position. We'll dig deeper into that discussion shortly. And this is fixed property element, so whether it doesn't affect the affected by the scrolling of the browser. It's always fixed wherever it has been placed. And other elements have been used with absolute, static and relative properties. We'll analyze by debugging them right now. Let's open the developer tools, right click and choose inspect. This is the container which holds three boxes. All three are static positioning divisions. Let's try to add a top property just to confirm this is not affecting its position. Yes, it is. So it's told the position static property prevents top from having an effect. Try setting position to something other than static. So it will not affect anything whether we use that or not. So browser itself intelligent enough to convey to the developer, so it will not support the top properties on statically positioned elements. Okay, let's go ahead and add the position to this as relative. When we added relative, it got came into fade in, and it shows effects on the relative element positioning. So when we move the numbers, it's also moving from its original position. See? We want to adjust the elements. The best the property is a relative property. And now let's change to absolute from relative. Now the interesting thing is now the position has moved to almost is overriding the box 1. Let's remove the top, so it's override. When you see over on the box 2, the element has started from its ancestor container where it started. So always that's a behavior of the absolute property. It always starts from its followed its ancestor where it started. If if you don't provide any left right properties, it's going to be start. So now if I provide top 170, it moved down. Similarly, if I put left property, moved left, it's moved right from the left 170. Yeah, that is what absolute property gonna behave. Next we go to sticky header, something interesting. Position as sticky and top is 0. There is something has to be remember. So when it has to be sticky, that's what we are mentioning here. So when we scroll down, when it reaches to the top 0 position of its parent container, or if it doesn't have any parent, it's going to be the, viewport as its parent container. So it's going to be from there, it's going top 0, it's a topmost border. So there it goes and it got fixed. That is how sticky nature going to be. So it's a hybrid nature of relative as well as fixed. Now we'll go to the fixed. What is that fixed? So the button what we designed here with the fixed property, so it doesn't affected by the scrolling. So whether you scroll up and down wherever, it doesn't move the original position of the element. It's just fixed on that position itself. Yeah, and these are the position properties which affects the positions of the DOM elements. And to give real-time examples, the sticky property often used for headers or navigation bars that need to stay at top of the page while scrolling until they reach a specific point. The fixed property is commonly used for elements that need to remain in a um, fixed position uh, um, related to the viewport. Examples include a back to top button that stays in the corner of screen, or chart with us button that remains accessible at the bottom right. Yeah, and absolute property commonly used uh, to um, like tooltips or pop-up menus that need to be appear relative to the specific container. And the relative property is useful for slightly adjusting the position of an element from its original placement without affecting the layout of other elements. And the static property, which is default one, keeping elements in normal document flow. For example, paragraphs or headings that should follow the natural flow of the document without any special positioning. Yep. And that's it from my end. Thank you very much for watching. Happy coding. Bye bye.